Let's go. Come on. This forever. No surrender. You know, yeah, this right here forever.
And welcome to another edition of Mma Uncaged Episode 6, proudly brought to you by Ginger Fox Coffee, guaranteed to make you as clever as a fox. Check out gingerfoxcoffee.com for more details. Joining me, as always, I'm honored to have these two gentlemen in my company every time, Garreth Soldier Boy McClellan and Justin Ferrier. Gentlemen, you can unmute your mics now as we move into the podcast. There we go, perfect. Guys, on this freezing cold day in Johannesburg, I know, Justin, you guys don't really have winter in Durban. I mean, at this stage, your T-shirt's comfortable, Garreth looking all warm and cozy and fuzzy, all that sort of thing. But before we get into our guest and our interview, let's quickly just recap what's been happening in the world of MMA in terms of the past weekend at the Apex, the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. We saw an interesting fight night. Jessica I just not good enough for Cynthia Calvillo. Garreth, your thoughts on the main event there with Jessica I mean, she missed weight. She took her eye off the prize. What was going on there?
So I think there's a few issues there. I think one, it's a case of there was so much hype around Jessica and what she was capable of doing and the threat that she posed. And it almost kind of seemed like there was just a nonchalant attitude towards the whole outcome. Fighting a number 10 fighter, you know, it almost like she looked past her. She, you know, with the weight situation again, how much of that did that play? Did she really push herself as hard as she could to reach that weight? Or was it just a case of, well, you know, I won't make weight and I'll take a little slap on the wrist and maybe a deduction in my purse, but I'm going to walk away with the win anyway, which is going to keep me in the position to challenge for a title. You know, she came out against that Cynthia, and Cynthia just looked hungry. She looked like she wanted the opportunity more. She caught her with two big head kicks early on, which I kind of think that rattled Jessica a little bit, and then just kept the pressure. Just didn't allow her to get back into the fight at all. Not a great performance by Jessica at all. I mean, I've seen her perform before, and it's definitely, I would say, 50% better than what she put on the night. But again, you don't produce, you don't get the win. What does that do for her title hopes? Pushes her back now. She's got to get back onto a winning streak and put her hand up.
Jay, the weight thing is obviously something she's been defending for a long time, but you know, surely by now, as an experienced fighter, you know, the weight cut is just something you have to get right.
Yeah, you in normal circumstances, 100%. The first opponent is your weight. The second opponent is your cardio. The problem is that you don't know when the fight was offered. You don't know where she's at mentally. Is Jessica somebody that needs a full 12-week camp? Was she buggering around with the pressures of COVID? You don't know all these things. These short notice fights are being picked up. It wasn't a great card, let's be honest. If you've got 3 knockouts in the first round under a minute, that's some caveman shit. You know what I mean? That's mismatching and sort of getting what you can. And fighters are hungry to be back on, or their hand is being forced. That's why they're missing weight, etc. Maybe that's an option. I don't know, to consider. Maybe she just didn't have the time to prepare. Maybe just didn't have that will to prepare because she's like, I don't really want to be here.
I know it was short notice, and you obviously don't know the parameters around, like Justin was saying. But the reality is, at the end of the day, in any sport that you compete in, as a professional, you should be able to compete at any stage. You know, you get your break period, whatever time that is that you take your holiday, and that's okay. But the rest of the year, you should be able to stick your hand up for a fight at any stage. Most professionals around the world in the bigger sports are kept in shape and prime condition for majority of the year, and they will be given their time off for a month or two or a month to go and relax and take time with their family, but then it's back in the mix and working.
Yeah.
I can't believe that you would put your hand up and say, okay, I'm ready, but then miss your weight. That's very irresponsible as a professional in yourself. I know it's desperate, and I know guys are trying to put money in the bank, but you still don't want to put yourself in a position where you discredit yourself, one, with not making weight, and then two, just underperforming.
Yeah.
Especially not in the main card fight, and especially not in the main fight of the night.
With the eyes of the world on you. I mean, everyone's watching UFC at the moment. Let's bring in Graeme Cartmell. He's the VP of Talent at the Extreme Fighting Championship. He's also a famous matchmaker. Thanks for your time. I'm obviously assuming you watched the UFC on the weekend, despite having a newest addition to your family and babysitting all the time.
I didn't watch anything, brother. I didn't even watch the highlights for the first time ever. I was like completely, but we can talk about it.
Yeah, well,
the
talking point we want to touch on is fighters missing weight. You know, it's obviously something a lot about your experience with the EFC. But I mean, we were just saying, like, in the UFC at the moment, someone like Jessica I missing weight, it's, we don't know the circumstances.
How much was she out by?
Kavir says quite a bit, and then the scale said it was like a pound. So, I mean, at the end of the day, she still missed weight in the end of the day.
That's not a lot at all.
Title fight.
I beg your pardon?
Was it a title fight?
No, it wasn't a title fight, but it was a main event of the fight night.
I think I'm like, it's funny. I think the UFC can always hold themselves to the highest standard because they are the best in the world. But I think a lot of athletes now, especially under like the pressure of what's going on globally, you can't actually expect them to be pushed into into that narrow gap of missing. It's already seriously stressful when there isn't the COVID-19, when you have a full cap, when you have access to the right foods and everybody's cool and mentally everyone's in a good space. But I think like there needs to be some give now more than ever. I mean, when we were going to do this event, we're trying to plan this closed door event with everyone. And we're saying, if guys miss weight, or rather, let's go like a guy like Luke Michael. Him making 70 kilos after the timber thing ain't going to happen. Him making 77 could be a problem. What are you walking around at? I'm walking around at 82. Okay, so let's do a catch weight fight. I know this sounds really like out there, but why not? Why not? Why push them to that like brink? And especially, I'm not being funny, but females cutting weight, the way their bodies are designed. I mean, think about Jackie Tricia. I don't know if any of you guys were there when she first cut weight. She almost freaking died. She was literally like half dead. And I think that's because their bodies work differently. It's a lot more stressful for them physically. So
you think we're being harsh at this point in time?
I think we're being harsh. And now, yes, under the right circumstances, absolutely. Let's be hold them accountable. And this is terrible. And woe is me. But we're getting great fight. A pound is not a lot of weight.
Yeah, I speak under correction, obviously. I speak under correction there, but I mean, it wasn't. It was still the fact that she missed the weight.
I think she was quite a lot overweight. I think she was a good 10 pounds overweight.
Let's have a look and see if I can find that.
I think she was somewhere in the region of 2.
That's a lot, eh?
Well, let's just see. I'll confirm that.
Graeme, don't you?
I think she was in the region of 2.5, 3 kilos overweight.
Hold on.
So, Graeme, while I agree with what you're saying, it's not only you as a promoter putting it together. The opponent's got to check that as well and agree to it. That's the challenge in it. But I agree. You can't throw somebody to the lamb and then take 30% of their purse because you hold them into an unrealistic number.
I think the weight story globally has kind of been the worst thing for any promoter to deal with because it's kind of out of our control. It's like, okay, cool, we want to put fights together. Awesome, that's a great fight. That guy's going to smash that guy. That chick's going to smash that chick. Awesome, it's going to be a great fight. Let's put it together. Fans will buy into it. And then some guys goes through some serious issues and can't make weight. And it's like such an external force. It's like if you don't train for a fight, you're going to lose it. But you can train your ass off, be awesome, and then just not know how to cut weight and not know how to work those parameters of your body. And then you lose a fight based on the mental edge that your opponent's gained because you haven't been able to cut the weight. It's shit. That's what it is, if I have to be honest with you. I hate the whole weight situation. And so many promotions like 1FC have come in great for them and gone, let's implement these steps and let's curtail certain issues. And Conor McGregor, I know when he was going to fight Mayweather, they were checking his weight a month out and 3 weeks out. And, just to make sure, because he hadn't really killed that boxing weight before, gone down. What a lot of admin for a promoter to be running around trying to make sure a fighter is going to make weight. And then it's like, I hate it.
This is where I, like me as a professional who's done this for 10 years, never missed weight. I mean, currently right now, I could fight your heavyweight. That's my weight. That's my walk around weight. So I'm 102 or 103 kilos. But in my career as a fighter, I was always primed. If I picked up the weight, I ensured that I dropped the weight. I ensured that I walked around at my walk around weight. I was responsible with my diets. I was responsible with my training. I always made weight no matter what the situation was. And it goes back to a level of professionalism again, in terms of it's not your responsibility as the promoter. It's not your responsibility to manage a fighter and his professionalism and his weight. If you sign a contract to say I'm going to be 77 kilos, on the day you must rock up at 77 kilos. There's no black and white.
Garreth, you spent your whole life at main event. So you've spent your whole life a card being built around you. You've been at the top from the beginning.
Cool, yeah.
True,
so it is easier for you. Like it's for these guys, and I understand what Jessica was main event, whatever the case is, but in these extenuating circumstances, you've got people that are like, well, UFC is applying massive pressure because they need the content. They might be throwing around money we don't know about, but they need the content. And in the first time in the world, the UFC needs the fighters more than the fighters need the UFC. But they're still managing to flip it.
Okay, but then
I don't know about that statement, Just.
You don't think so?
UFC doesn't need John Jones and his big price tags. They don't need.
No, fair. They don't need that, but they do need stuff.
No promoter needs a fighter. That's the biggest joke. No promoter needs a fighter. A promotion will carry on. It will put two guys that are willing to take 5 and 5 on the card to keep their broadcast deals going. And their broadcast guys can go, oh, but you aren't pulling as much as you were. And the UFC now can go, well, we're the only actual promotion on TV. So actually, I think a lot of the guys running around looking for money, it's so funny because they don't know the dynamics. They look at what they're being told through media. John Jones, one of the statements he said was, the UFC are saying that they're doing better than they've ever done and their numbers are great. They're a promoter. They will tell you that they are shitting gold in order for them to get a one-up on their opposition. Their whole job is to promote you and make you think that they are doing better than they really are.
So they've just taken a loan of $150 million against a $2 billion loan that they have already.
Is that 1FC?
I know, that's the UFC.
Yeah, and 1FC just banked $70 million and cut 30% of their staff. So it's like what's going on the books are completely different to what a promoter is telling you. And this is inside information because this is what any good promoter does. They don't tell you we're hemorrhaging cash and actually we don't know if we can put a fight card together for the next 12 months under the circumstances of not having fans come in, not getting gate money, blah, 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 blah. But we're doing better than ever. And those John Joneses and those guys are actually doing themselves a disservice by not getting in bed with the company and going, where are you? What are we doing? Do we have a vision together? You can't sit on social media on your soapbox and go, pay me $1 million. And you think that you're doing a good job because you're getting all the media and everyone's backing you. Yeah, John deserves it. They all deserve all this money. The reality is sit down with your promoter. He's like your wife. He's the person who's backing you the most going, okay, actually we can't afford that. And the company needs to make money for the next 12 months, not just pay you out one big lump sum and close next month. So there's a give and take. So I think a lot of the guys are running around looking for LeBron James money in a sport that doesn't exist. That money does not exist in MMA. And they go, oh, I need to retire on this cash. Why should you retire? Why are you so special? I don't get it. Conor was overpaid for the boxing fight. They don't generate that amount of money. They didn't make $100 million dollars for the company. Why should they be paid $100 million?
But the funny thing is, if you look at all the purses and the values that the guys like LeBron James and the Floyd Mayweathers and all these big star names in America are making, it's not from the promoters or the organizations. It's from the endorsements that they make that kind of money.
Yeah. So tell Reebok to go fuck themselves. Don't tell UFC, because UFC are giving you the platform. The best post I've seen on social media is somebody was going on about, the prelim guys are all complaining about how much they get paid. And the guy said, they actually get paid? You mean they actually get paid? Do you know how much money they generate when you're on a prelim card? Don Madge, South African boykie, he must have clocked R1 million in his last fight with the UFC. That's fucking huge. That oak he's not even 25. How old is he? 26.
Yeah.
25.
Yeah. Somewhere around there,
I've never seen R1 million go through my bank account. Okay, for something that I really love, to train all day, it's fucking awesome. So what's happening now is it's this entitlement, and I deserve. I'll tell you something. If you were a partner in the business, if you had shares in that company and you could buy shares on the UFC, was listed on the stock exchange, how much shares would you buy? Okay, that's what you've got to ask yourself as a fighter. How much do I believe in this company? How much of the money you're going to pay me am I going to reinvest into the company? Because eventually we've got to get there together. We can make $1 billion together, or you can make $1 million on your own. That's like, because the fighters are participants in every fighter that's signed to EFC is a participant in our promotion. So if they go around saying, fuck EFC, they didn't do this for me, all they're doing is they're taking a piss on their own careers, because we're trying to uplift them and they're trying to downplay us. And I've never gotten over the psychology is like mind-blowing. These guys like Brendan Lazar and jumping onto Aries, like they've never had a promotion. They've had a half a promotion, goes and signs a contract, and he's still under contract to us. We go and do shit like that, and then say, oh no, you owe me, and I don't owe you anything. Without me, how many fights have you had? 3? I don't even know anymore. Is that like 4 or 5 fights? Without us putting ourselves in front of him and going, let's do it together, he wouldn't be anywhere. We built a whole reality show for him and you, G, and that boosted them.
Did he consult with you before that move?
No. It was we owe him a bonus, and he came and sat with me, and I said to him, the company's strapped for cash. We were just about to go into lockdown. So the company's strapped for cash. I don't know how I'm going to pay my staff. And you ration me for this money. We don't have it. We've been hemorrhaging cash for ages. We're trying to keep the company afloat. So you guys have a platform to be a part of. And he stormed out of here. And the next thing I got a message from a manager, and I'm like pretty open book. I fucking hate managers, and I don't like dealing with them, because all they do is they create a wedge between myself and the fighter and go, and a prime example, I've had this happen to me. A manager will say, Graeme, so-and-so is worth X amount. And I'm saying, he's not worth it. And the manager will go back to the fighter and go, he doesn't think you're worth any money, a lot of money. It's like, it's out of context. It's not that I'm saying he's worthless. I'm saying that's not going to generate revenue. So a manager sent me a message saying something about Aries, and he wants to discuss things. I said, I don't need to discuss things with you. Thanks. I'll talk to Brendan. Next minute, post on signed with Aries. No, you aren't. You've got an exclusive contract with EFC. And this happens all the time. They think that that's the way to conduct themselves and do business. I don't. If the UFC said to me, please, can you put a fight together for us in Africa? I'd be like, I can't. I have an obligation to EFC. Thank you very much. It's just like, just talk to be in bed with your promoter. Like, we are not sitting in a tower throwing fucking bones down to you once we've had our lamb fillets. We're in the same boat. We're trying to make the business work so you can be famous and awesome and earn money. And you're trying to fight your asses off and promote us so that we can get big and pay you more money. It's like this systematic, this holding hand thing, you know?
It's a partnership at the end of the day, isn't it? I mean, that's how things work. But I mean, fighters and their egos, the managers blow smoke up their asses, all sorts of things. Graeme, let's talk about how close you guys were to putting on an event at the High Performance Institute before lockdown or during lockdown.
A week out, eh? We were a week away from it. Yeah, and it was going to be cool. We even shot a little bit of a show with Drickus, and Simon Stevens were doing some stuff for us, you know, to prepare for the show. Looked like an awesome event. Zakir Badat and Gideon Drotsky. And then because of the lockdown, Zakir said he couldn't compete because he's got Ramadan. And that was at that stage when we thought we were going to do it during at the beginning of June. We're into June now. We have looked at the whole landscape. We've sent our stuff to government and said, please, can you change this ruling for us to allow to be able to compete? They haven't responded, or they did respond. And now we are going to seek legal action. Wow. Like, what is going on in this country? What is going on here? Like, is there something, am I missing something completely? Like, is it, what's going on?
So from that aspect, I mean, G, I think from your first thing about athletes and the behavior, again, it goes back to professionalism and their ability to put themselves in the professional bracket and how they handle things. I think regarding the sport as a whole, in terms of how are you guys combating the situation with COVID, and how are you getting yourselves up and running? Again, it's a battle with the powers that be above. And for me, the interesting question is, how much support are you getting from the community? How much support are you getting from the governing body in SAMMA? What are they doing to support you guys to get MMA running again? I mean, what level of commitment have you got from leaders within the industry? Okay, so those are good questions, because from a support perspective, I think it's an unsaid support. The four of us are sitting here. We all want EFC to have an event because it all benefits us. We love the sport. We've got vested interest, whether it's financial, emotional, you know, we all want to be a part of this. We love it. So I think in that respect, a lot of the MMA community in South Africa is just looking at EFC as usual to go, you guys go at it. Like, what are you going to do? And I get that. It would be amazing if a lot of people got behind us, but we also haven't called for people. We haven't called for action. We haven't said, hey, come on board, help us out. This is what we need. It's very difficult because a lot of the guys aren't able to do anything. Everyone's got their hands tied. Like, if I could ask MMA SA to help me out, they're essentially going, we're just going to do what government says. Because they have to. In their heads, they won't challenge they're not disruptors. They're not going to challenge the paradigm. The four of us in EFC, and I'm blowing smoke up our asses, we have always challenged the paradigm. We are going to go out to government and we're going to challenge government at our own cost. Nobody's funding EFC. EFC has no money to pay anything at the moment. Like, we aren't generating money secretly in, and we're going to go and challenge the ruling, because it is ridiculous. It is ridiculous that in the EFC Performance Institute, we can't have two guys who have consented, had COVID-19 tests, fight each other. Everyone else, I can have 10 people, I can limit it to 15 people in the venue, meaning cameramen and hexagon side officials, and have an event with 15 people plus 2 fighters, 17 people. And 2 of the guys that are actually in contact with each other have consented and had COVID tests. And we've laid out a whole ruling and did it how the guy should have trained for the whole thing. And still, it's and that's what is scary, is that as a country we've gone, okay, cool, this is acceptable, whatever you say. Let's shut down the restaurant industry, but let's have churches. I mean, we can get into that all day, but it's like, I just don't understand the thinking. And they're killing business. They're killing businesses like this. So if we go on much longer, I spoke to Cairo yesterday. He said to me, no, we're going to get this through end of July. He's completely confident that end of July
will have something substantial. And it's government gazetted, by the way, guys, that you actually have to implement, change, address your people. So he has to have a presidential address every month. It's in that disaster management that they have to make changes or amendments to it on a monthly basis. So people are like doing backflips because, went to level 2 or 3 or whatever the story is over the period. He has to do it anyway. So by July, end of July, if we're not on level 1, I'll be completely surprised. Which means, yes, we can have an event in August, but it's still a long time for people to sit on their hands.
So as far as I know, that lockdown 2 level 2 will only come into July, and level 1 will only be September. Regarding international flights and those kind of things would only open up next year again.
You guys are the guys that need to put pressure on government, for real. Like, you guys are in the public eye, lots of sportsmen. Everyone should be going to government and lobbying the hell out of them to actually do something about it, because it's not right what they're doing. So we've all agreed that it's not right. We can have an event safely. Okay?
Yeah.
How do we all get behind that? People need to put pressure on government. If people are going to sit and have their cappuccinos takeaway and talk about it, and oh my God, I can't believe they're doing this, then no one's ever going to get anywhere. Yeah. But if we actually go, okay, fuck, why don't you litigate? Why don't you send a letter to government? Why don't we petition? Why don't we do something that's going to be positive? So we're taking the active step, and the more people that disrupt that stick freaking, like are thorns in the side, they're going to go, we've got a lot of pressure from this industry, the sports industry. Let's do something about it. So that's where we are. We are trying. And I genuinely believe that mid-August we can have an event. Yeah. I think we can do it. I'm positive about it. Come on, let's try and make it happen.
Have to be positive. Graeme, in terms of where EFC is at, and in terms of the fight card for that August event, I mean, would it still remain the same? Would you still have Drotsky in action?
No, thoughts? I think Drickus is going to step in against Drotsky. I think Zakir, it'll take a while for, I'd like to give Zakir a fair shake. I still want to sell a big fight card and give Drickus an opportunity to fight before. I mean, we've been chatting quite strongly, and I think he's going to be heading off to the UFC next year for sure, and rightly so. I mean, he's at like 100% finish rate. He's fucking the beast. So he needs to be in the UFC, and he's an example of a guy that has stepped up the ladder progressively, and let it be an example that is not about we don't have A, B, and C fighters. That's like a fallacy of like, okay, you're only a C fighter, you're never going to get into the UFC. Every single guy has the potential to be in the UFC. The most important thing is understand that there are steps to getting there. That it is not about how many fights you have. When you are prepared to fight consistently up until the day that the UFC call you, that should be your attitude, then you deserve to be there. If you're like, fuck it, I'm going to fight anybody, any fight that gets offered to me, at any time I'm taking. No, but hang on, wait, bro. The UFC could call you in a month. I heard your managers. I don't care. I'm fighting because I need to keep relevant. I need to keep awesome. I'm a fighter. I'm going to win. Then you are there. Because it's the guys who go, I'm holding out. Oh, I'm going to go fight at this promotion over here because they have better access into here. I'm sorry. If you're in the EFC and you're a champion and you can get to be champion status and keep going and fight at any stage. I mean, he said to me last week, Friday, was like, I'll fight tomorrow. I'll fight in a week from now. Can you organize me 2 fights before the end of the year?
Yeah.
Like, he's adamant on keeping active. I said, but bro, like, it sounds like there's some good things happening. Don't you want to hold out? You've got a good record. You've got good things going. He's like, no, I want to keep active. I should have had 3 fights this year already. I'll
fight them all, Graeme. I'll fight them all.
Yeah, I know you will.
Putting his hand up.
A lot of people are asking for Garreth and Drickus. When are we going to make that happen, G?
Well, light heavy, middleweight, heavyweight.
No, light heavyweight, champ. Light heavyweight, brother.
I can do light heavy.
Hey?
Yeah, listen.
I think it should happen.
Not.
He's still got a bone to pick with you, bro.
Yeah, well,
How's training week? Have you been killing it? Training.
I've been training as much as I can. I think with the lockdown, it's very tight, but a lot of strength training, some running. I suppose I do what I can do.
Gareth, in terms of anyone that's on your hit list, I think the one guy who might have run off to...
Oh, he ran away.
He ran
off to
away.
Aries.
He was on your hit list, though.
Who?
Definitely.
So-
Brendan, definitely.
No, listen, Brendan's still got obligations to EFC. So, like, he can rant and rave and carry on. And the joke is, I heard somebody told me, they said, oh, yeah, but don't, my contract, if I live overseas, then it doesn't, it's not relevant.
It's not applicable. Yeah.
You are joking. Because I can tell you something right now. The UFC does not want to take a fighter that's in a contractual dispute with their promoter.
100%.
The last thing anybody wants to touch is somebody who's not loyal to their contract. If I knew somebody broke a contract to try and then try to be with me, I'd be like, no thanks. Because what's the point? You've got to have a relationship. And if you've got to have a relationship with your promoter. It goes back to that 100%.
So if Brendan had come to you and said, I've been offered this opportunity, can we talk? What would the outcome have been?
I would have said, I want this amount of money, which is I probably would have asked for around $20,000 for him to fight because he's a big star here. And then I would have said, UFC is going to take a position on that, a cut of that. And we'll help promote it and great, good luck for you. But the only condition is, if you're going to be fighting in Africa, because this is our territory, we're going to ask for more money. If it's overseas, rad, go for it. But because they do it behind our back, it's like, no, whoa, what's going on here? And we know what Aries' position is. They just want to fuck us. I mean, that Ferdinand hates me. He hates me because of this the Rizlan Zoak issue where I didn't offer her fights for a long time because she was an international. It was difficult for us to fly her over. And then when I did offer her a fight, she couldn't make the weight and it was back and forth. And I'm the big arsehole and yada, yada, yada. And same with Badat. He brought him out. He got knocked out in the first, champion cleaned his clocks. And now it's me to blame. And I'm the bad promoter. And I've seen what's gone on. I'm not stupid. I'm an open book with people because I'm so sick of like the pandering. Oh, yes, cool. No, I don't like him because he's an asshole. He's trying to poach my fighters. And when I phoned him, like I'm man with a man and go, hey, stop poaching my fighters. I've got contracts with these guys. His response was, I'm hiring managers to do it, not me. It's not me. I said, you are doing it. You are talking to my athletes. What I'm happy for you to do is tell me the guys that you want and girls, because she wanted Amandalina to fight Rizlan Zoak. Said, bad fight for Amanda, because it's his promotion and Rizlan's his girl, so he's going to try and fuck her somehow, I can guarantee you. But if that's the fight you want to do, amazing, pay her well. Okay, cool, how much? So I gave him a big number, because I believe that she's worth a lot of money. Then everything went cold, and then I got a call from Amanda. Oh, I'm signing with Aries. I said, why? You're under contract to me. No, because he offered me some. No, guys, don't roll over for these promotions that come in and say, we're going to give you this. We've had this before with Brave, and who's the other one? There's another one. There's been loads. They come in and they go, we're going to offer you the world. Okay, you sign, and then how often do you fight? And, oh, yeah, they got a big vested interest in you like we do. Like Chad Honeycomb. I wonder if they ever called him back after he got knocked out. Did Brave ever go, listen, bud, we're going to do this with you? They don't. They come in, throw money, promise the world. It's like the comparison of Virgin Active. You got a Virgin Active contract. You rock up every day. You're at the platinum, the awesome one that's 1,500 rand a month. You're rocking out there. You know what you get, tiles, everything beautiful. You then see a billboard for a new gym opening up down the road, 500 rand less, more amenities. You go and sign a contract. You walk in, it's half built. Oh, yeah, well, it's not proof of concept. We haven't been around for long enough to... It's exactly the same thing. EFC's had 82 events. We've been around for 11 years. We've proved what we can do. And one guy will come in and go, fuck Graeme, fuck EFC, I'll pay you more money and we're going to do this. Okay. And then the fighters believe it. They don't phone me and go, what do you think? How should we approach this?
So I mean, what is your strategy with this? Because there's always going to be other promotions. They're always going to look to EFC
I'm happy
as
for guys to come in and burn cash, CS.
okay.
Other promotions must come and hemorrhage money like they've got it as water to drink. And that's what they do. They see EFC as this big shining example, but they don't know what's gone in. How much money and how much time and effort and blood, sweat. Gee, you've been there with me from the beginning. You've seen me helping train guys in a gym. So now what we built, it's taken fucking years of my life. And my family has suffered. People don't understand what you put in. Okay? And then they think, we're going to be that. All we need to do is take their fighters and offer them more money. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I've had Donnie van Heerden walk out, the heavyweight champion after being a racist, walked out, and I was happy to see the back end of it. But he left and then tried to sue us and left with my belt. He wouldn't give the belt back. I'm keeping the belt. So what? We carry on. We make fights. We make sure guys get the guys that want to work with us, the Garreth, the Drickers, those guys, the guys that go, cool, EFC is my promotion. We look after them and we make sure they get to the top because we have a symbiote relationship. The guys that go, I'm going to go to Aries, I'm saying, I'm happy for you to fight at Aries. If Garreth said to me, they offered me 50 grand, I say, fucking brew, go now. Awesome. Let me broker the deal. Maybe we can get a bit more money for you, a bit more this and that, and we'll take a cut. Are you happy to do that? Maybe he goes, no, I want to do it on my own. Cool. He's going to earn money. But Garreth, you're not going to fight in South Africa. Are we happy with that? Because with the promotion that's built you in Africa, you're happy with that? Yeah, no, fine. So I think it's about speaking to the promoter. And I know I'm hot-headed and I could speak a shit ton, but there's been proof of concept with Drickers going to KSW. We brokered that deal and he benefited financially and career-wise and walks and still goes, Graeme, I trust you because we just have a relationship and we're trying to work with each other. If the fight, and to answer your question, sorry I've rambled on so much here, to answer your question, any fighter that gets an offer from another promotion, if they spoke to us about it and they're still in the contract, great. If they don't, have no obligation to us if they have no contract with us. They have a contract, talk to us, let's work something out. I'm not going to say, ooh, we're holding you. We don't want that relationship. I don't want to hold guys down.
Yeah.
Garreth came to me with UFC. He'd agreed to fight Michiel Opperman. And you said, gee, I don't want to do this. This is my opportunity for UFC. We didn't make a hoopla. We had a coffee. We spoke about it. We both agreed it was best for his career there. And he went. Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I think the situation is just that there's so much disjointment in the sports at the moment, and everybody's fighting everybody. And instead of us standing together and for the benefit of the sport, we could be so much further along than what we would be now if we didn't have everybody just crapping on each other. Oh, you to blame, you to blame, you to blame, you to blame. This is the reason. Oh, they don't pay me enough. This one's doing that. This one's doing that. And everybody just seems to put themselves ahead of what actually we've been trying to do for the last 10 years. I mean, if I think about it, when I started, there was no UFC. There was a tent where 20 people came to watch. You beat the crap out of each other. You got paid an envelope with maybe $1,000 in. It bought you some beers.
No, don't lie. There was no money in that fucking envelope. Don't lie. Don't lie. They made you drive from Joburg to Durban, and then you got maybe a meal ticket with a boerewors roll. Am I right? Eh? Come on.
100%. And the thing is, at the end of the day, the Oaks are now sitting in a position because there's such lights and they see the money that Connor's making, and Connor's a 1 in a million oak. He's a 1 in a million. It's going to be a long time before somebody comes along and makes the same money as what he does. Even the top guys, even the Joneses, even the Khabibs, even whoever else wants to put their hand up in the UFC. It's not like that. And the reality is the local people, they're not marketing themselves. They don't structure themselves. They don't professionalize themselves. And that's why they're battling to make the money. They get dragged into organizations that offer them these crazy offers, but never live up to the hype, or they never receive what they expected to. Instead of investing in what we have locally, everybody stick up their hand and let's build something that makes our sport great in this country, because it has that ability.
Nando's is probably the only exported business in South Africa that's made money internationally, as bigger overseas. Guys, we're in Africa. Like, we're trying to build something. I get it. The average guy that we sign looks at us and goes, I'm basically in the UFC. Buddy, from a platform and the opportunity to show yourself to the world, 100%. But the money is not there. The financial remuneration that an average fighter gets here, that we can afford to pay them, versus the UFC, are completely different. So we need to understand that. And it's the same if I wanted to immigrate and I go, I want to live in Australia. All right. So as my job in Australia, which is like, I don't think there's a matchmaker in Australia. I don't know. Maybe Nick Maynard, was he Australian? He was. He's in the UFC. I don't know. But any job, like electrician, it's going to be different. You're going to earn more money in Australia than you will in South Africa, and you're going to earn a higher currency. But what you're going to get out of that are going to be two different things, like rental, all that type of stuff. Here, you become a star immediately. I'm taking guys that are 3-0, 2-0, and putting them in front of millions of people. That is, it's unheard of. Your opportunity here is crazy to earn. And the models, like you said, Gareth, are completely skewed. Everybody is fighting each other. There's two models. You've got UFC or boxing. UFC is sign lots of fighters, look after them. You dictate how you become their promoter, manager, like a combination of the two. Versus the other option, which is boxing, which is you're their promoter, but you own them specifically, and you only have a few fighters. Hay from not Hay. Who's Matchroom Boxing? What's his name? British guy. Following him on Instagram. He's hilarious. Anyway, he's got
David Hay.
No, he's got Hay as one of his boxers. Anyway, you get a single promoter. He looks after 10 guys. Those are his boys. He matches them against guys. He hosts the event. They come in. It's very different to MMA, where they sign I sign an exclusive contract with every single guy, even if he's 1-0. You've got boxing versus, but what's better? What's better? No one benefits from the boxing model, meaning the promoter earns and the boxer earns, but only at the highest level. From the MMA model, it's a shared model. You all sign to EFC, so you get pay, you get looked after. Gareth, you might have actually had the same amount of airtime as a guy on a prelim card in your EFC career.
Yeah.
And that is the beauty of it, because we see you as fighters. There's no tiering system. Whereas in boxing, those are my top ranked guys. They get the most money. They get seen. Everyone else is dog shit. All of you guys. Billy Westerhuizen has had a lot of airtime with punches, his knockouts, all that type of stuff, because we take each guy and they're an EFC fighter. They wear the brand. They become a part of the brand. Same with the UFC. You want to know the entire 500 roster. I know it's a lot, or whatever, 400, 300. Boxing, WBO, who's the WBO champ, who's the WBC, you don't know what the fuck's going on. You just know the boxer. And getting there is so damn hard, because you get ranked and thousands of guys are trying to bite at your ankles. MMA has a very, very different thing. If you sign to the promotion, it means we believe that you should be in the top spot. So back the promotion. I can't tell you how many kickboxers, boxers, guys have come, internationals, have sat with us, the Danny Henrys of the world, before signing with UFC and before being an EFC fighter, sat with us and went, oh my God, this is fucking awesome. What you guys have created in Africa, we don't have in Europe. They don't have what we have here in Europe. Name one promotion. Cage Warriors was nothing like EFC. EFC blew Cage Warriors out the water in terms of our production and our value to the athlete from a broadcast perspective.
All right, gents, we're going to have to leave it there as we're running out of time. Is there any other further questions for Graeme, Gareth, Justin, before we wrap this up?
So I think for me the important thing is, how do we see the future? What are we doing about potential development programs for younger fighters, going out finding our fighters? How are we looking to develop the fighters that are currently on the card? I mean, I know we've spoken so much about workshops and investing in them, in teaching them how to market themselves, how to carry themselves, how to be more professional in essence going forward.
I actually think one of the main things that we've been remiss in as an organization is trying to develop athletes, especially in the townships, African athletes. That's going to be our bread and butter for the next 10, 15 years. You know, I'm not getting on a white versus black thing. I just think that the reality is it's very difficult to develop those guys because they've got entrenched boxing values. You know, the guys, there's not enough MMA gyms in townships or in places where we can access like guys that would be potential stars, like the Israel Adesanyas of the world, you know, and the Usmans. They had to flee their countries in Africa in order to be amazing. They had to go overseas, which really sucks. Now you have an opportunity in Africa for us to develop. I want to develop Zimbabwean talent, Angolan talent, Congolese talent. I want those guys in the MMA gyms around Africa. So it's not just a South African problem, it's an African thing, to be able to be accessed. And maybe with like, and what it involves is funding. EFC needs funding in order to develop those centers that could create talent going forward. Up till now, we've let it guys like Justin, guys like yourself, guys like that have been invested in the business to build their own gyms, to assist fighters in managing, to build relationships with myself and the team so that we can have get them when they are good enough. So yes, it's not a perfect system. It works, and it's worked for as long as, you know, we've started. It could be better. I am not a paragon of virtue here in like the development world. I basically take the cream from the crop. When I see the best fighter coming out of a gym that I've got a relationship with the owner, and he goes, gee, Masizak is knocking the living shit out of people. That's where we are. And we were starting a program last year when EFC was, and I'll be honest with you guys, when EFC is in good financial standing, the world there's no limit to what we can achieve. But we've had knock after knock for the last 2 years financially. Quesia closing down and liquidating meant that they owed us 10 million rand that we were never going to see again, that we had to find from somewhere to keep going, our company going. We've borrowed, begged and robbed and done what we can do to get to, well, not rob, but we're in a state where we are constantly trying to keep the business afloat. And focusing on that is very difficult when you should be focusing on all the awesome growth things, you know, like growing talent and building gyms and all that type of awesome shit that makes MMA great. That's where I think like we've been hard hit. And I'm hoping that I'm going with that Jim Rom motivational speaker. He always says like the after a winter, there's spring all the time. Like it's for centuries. That's how the way the world's worked. And maybe this is 2 years has been the hardest winter for EFC. And if we manage to do what we can do in this winter and gotten through this COVID thing and come out, I promise you we will be unstoppable because we're going to be just leather-backed. So I'm hoping we can start developing. We're trying as much as we can, but it is difficult. And we need, guys, your support, more traction, more builds.
Is it viable to have a show behind closed doors in terms of ticket sales and things like that?
We are probably the only business on the MMA business. I think Art of War was one of them, but they built their whole business around closed door events. Eventing at that scale actually makes us lose so much money.
Really?
We hire big venues. You know, you're never going to fill a venue like that. Like the buying population in South Africa is so difficult. If we went to Congo for the first time, we'd kill it. Angola for the first time, we'd kill it. I'm sure. But South Africa, we've saturated the market with MMA. Like we've been here for 10 years. So people don't buy into every show, which is something that the UFC has managed to do. They get a lot of traction on most shows, whereas we are like Garreth McClellan versus Dricus du Plessis. You know, we'll make on that from the gate. So a closed show for us The broadcasters will pay because our product is so goddamn. Let me tell you something, guys. Our product is so fucking good on TV. It's better than anything in South Africa that I've seen. Soccer's shot so badly. Rugby's shot so badly. MMA, when you watch EFC, you're like, oh my God, that's beautiful. That product on TV, without having to worry about fans, and it's going to be great. I think we'll do well. And sponsors are lining up to be a part of that. So that's what we've learned over 10, 11 years. People can come here. Why would you want to come and do a show in Africa when guys, the dynamics changed?
Yeah.
You won't be able to do big events anymore.
Yeah.
Closed door is where it's at. And if you can do a good closed door, amazing.
I think that's a great opportunity for most sporting fraternities, and I think MMA being the front runner because UFC got it right in the beginning. But from a marketing platform, companies are looking for exposure, especially now because of the situation they're in. They're needing to get their brands out there. They're needing to get some sort of coverage on them. So for MMA, it would be a great opportunity to snipe some of those potential sponsors that were a little bit out of reach in the beginning. Just going forward, I mean, how much is African events a part of your guys' future plans? Knowing what Africa is doing at the moment in world MMA.
Pre-COVID, I thought we were hell-bent on doing an African event in Angola. Our first event outside of South Africa would have been Angola. I hope. Congo's come online, and the buying public for events like EFC, the quality they're going to get. We were, can you imagine? You headline with like Anisette Kanyebe and Elena Lunga in DRC. I mean, for facts, we would have just exploded. So now, why do I need to do that? I just need to get a good broadcast deal with Congo TV. Make it as beautiful a product as possible. Get Anisette and Elaine, build the hell out of that fight. Think them on it. And that is the vein, I think, that I'm not saying that's where our potential growth is in the sport now, is we've taken 10 years to set up those pipelines, those building blocks for good broadcast deals that I don't think, if you're the UFC, if you're anybody, why would you want to come to Africa to do an event when you can't really have a big event? Rather just have EFC, buy into EFC as a product. If you want to watch African athletes fight each other and get Congo versus Angola and Cameroon versus Senegal and South Africa and create like almost an African championship, which we are poised for that. So I think once we can open the doors, that's going to be our mainstream things. Get the guys in. They can fly in. They can fly in at least when we'll be able to punch each other in the face. And the rest will be awesome. You'll be able to sit in Congo and watch like the best Congolese athletes beat the crap out of each other.
That'll be pretty awesome. Graeme Cartmell, thank you so much for your time. Unfortunately, we are out of time on MMA Uncaged. Quick prediction for this weekend. We got Volkov. He's in action against Blades. Jay, your thoughts on that one? Blades, comfortably?
Blades.
Graeme?
Nothing's comfortable at heavyweight.
Go Garreth first. I want to see what he says.
I think
Don't sit on the fence.
I think that Volkov is he just hasn't really filled everybody's expectations. I think there was a much higher expectation for him when he first popped on the scene. He was going through guys, and I think everybody was very excited about him. He picked up a few losses. I think he's picked up 2 losses in the UFC, and which has kind of just slowed him down. He's just not the same guy. I think Blades is an exciting fighter. I think he's a really good wrestler. He's got good combinations. He's got good power in his hands. I see Blades taking this one.
Graeme Cartmell, you have the final say.
I'm going to go against both of them. I'm saying Volkov.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I like his punching power. I like how he fights. I really like how he fights. I'm not basing anything on record. I just really like the way he fucking throws down.
Okay. Graeme Cartmell, thanks for your
Are we not
insights.
putting money on this? I mean, what's the point of getting this? Can't we bet on this?
I'm in.
Oh, we might as well. I mean, we are looking for a betting sponsor.
Yeah,
Podcast.
I'll tell you what.
MMA Uncaged.
I'll tell you what we do. G, you're gonna need to do some private sessions with me if I win.
Is that so?
Eric.
Yeah.
Curse.
And if I win, you give. If I win, you give me what? Hang on. If I win, you give me whatever fight I want.
There it is. It's on record now. It's on record.
Jay, what do you want from me, bro? Besides hugs.
Consistent SMSs. Once a week, touch call-ins.
And not just blue ticking.
Yeah, no blue ticks.
No blue ticking, no blue ticking.
And Jay, all I want from you is just to make sure that you hexagon side when you, which I think you benefit from more than I do, because you have more of a job.
No. I'm an employee. No, it's the best part of my day.
Awesome,
right.
man. Thank you.
Guys, thanks so much. It's been MMA Uncaged, and catch it on iTunes, of course, SoundCloud, Facebook, as well as on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Thanks very much for your time, gentlemen. It's been MMA Uncaged. We'll catch you again next time.
Let's go. Come on. This forever. No surrender. Yeah. You know that this right here forever. And there will be no surrender. Now allow me to reintroduce myself. They call me J-O-N to the easy E-N. Know that we undefeated. Y'all are beneath them speeches trying to air a grievance. But his lines are overhead. Better check the air for clearance. Call the tower. This is our critic. He the heir apparent. Really, I've never been better. Legacy, this is forever. All the more times I've been severed. I'm raising the bar. You can go ahead and measure. Think about time for a toast. Time that we welcome to go. Yo, we're just leaving a note. This right here forever.